Hey guys, I got a new video for you today, and recently I tested this flashlight here. This is the Thrunite Catapult V5 UT. This is a great flashlight because it throws a beam way out there. It allows the user to see things in a very focused beam. So if you're searching for things or if you need to see things before they get to you, so people like police officers, security officers, search and rescue, military, or just anybody that owns like maybe a large plot of land, or if you just want a really awesome flashlight that lights up a long way, then this is a great light for you. Now, I received quite a few comments asking, where does this light fit into, somebody that carries more of an EDC size flashlight? So, by way of comparison, I have here what quickly became my favorite larger size EDC flashlight. This is the Thrunite TC12. Now this is putting out 1,000 lumens on its highest output. It runs off of one 18650 rechargeable battery, and it is a great flashlight to throw in your pocket and use and have a nice, a lot of light coming out of it. Now, the key thing is when you get into flashlights smaller like this and with the shorter emitters is they're going to put out a lot of light, but it's also because it's such a shorter emitter, it's going to be wider spread. So in comparison with the Catapult, as you guys can see here, the emitter is so much deeper and it is nice and smooth and reflective that allows the light to actually go out way further, but it's also going to be more of a focused beam. So you're not going to get so much wider spill of the light. It's going to be more of a direct focus. And you can actually see the beam on a clear night coming out of the flashlight itself. It is really cool looking. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to take these two lights outside and do a couple of comparison shots, in different circumstances, some distance shots so you guys can see, how far the actual beam on the TC12 will go in comparison to the Catapult, and then just some closer up shots, and then some really long distance shots with some lights and things like that mixed in, so you guys can see the main difference and maybe answer some of those questions. Now, the key thing is that both of these lights are fairly close as far as the maximum output. The maximum output on the TC12 is 1,000 lumens versus the maximum output on the Catapult is 1,200 lumens. So there's only a 200 lumen difference from the Catapult to the TC12. Again, this one is running off of two 18650 rechargeable batteries versus the one 18650 rechargeable. But the key thing is, even though they're very close as far as the maximum output, is how far that light actually travels and allows you to see things that a regular EDC flashlight might not allow you to see. So let me go ahead and take these out there and show you guys. Alright guys, so we're at the park here. I think this is probably one of the better scenarios to be able to test out the beam shots as far as distance wise goes on these two flashlights. I am testing the TC12 by Thrunite, which quickly became my go-to larger size EDC flashlight, and that's going to be against the Catapult V5 UT, also by Thrunite. I got a lot of questions regarding these two flashlights being so close as far as the maximum output, on the TC12 being 1,000 lumens and on the Catapult being 1,200 lumens. There's only about 200 lumen difference. Why does the Catapult it throw that beam out there so much more? And again, that has to do with what I already showed you guys, the size of the reflectors, how smooth it is, how deeper it is on the Catapult. And so this will serve so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. So the way that I'm designing this test is there is a sign right out in front of you guys. I know you guys can't make it out yet, but it's about 25 yards. There's a tree in the middle of the park that is about 50 yards, and then you can barely make them out now. There's 3 really tall palm trees all the way at the end of the park, and those are about 100 yards away. Now, excuse the background noise. One of my neighbors is actually having a party, so let's go ahead and get this started. I'm going to start with the TC12. Again, this is an awesome EDC flashlight, and I'll show you guys what this can do at 1,000 lumens. So there is the sign that is people walk their dogs and stuff like that. That's just telling you to pick up after your dogs. So that is 25 yards. Then to the left there is the tree in the middle of the park that is about 50 yards. And then all the way in the back there, there's those 3 palm trees. And again, those are about 100 yards away. So even though this is a pocket-sized flashlight, it's still doing a pretty good job at lighting up a really wide area. So again, this beam is not as focused as you're going to see on the Catapult. So it will throw the light out there a little bit, but for the most part, if you want something that's going to be very direct, that's where the Catapult actually comes in and shines and does a really good job. So let's go ahead and switch over to the Catapult now. So I'll turn it on. Again, this is both at max output, so this is 1200 lumens. So as you guys can see, not so wide, but it is a very direct spotlight. There it is, the sign at 25 yards. Then moving over to the tree in the middle of the park at 50 yards, and then the 3 palm trees right up there at 100 yards. As you guys can tell, this is very direct. You can see exactly what's going on in all those different areas, you know, from 25 yards to 50 yards to 100 yards very well. I'll light up some of the other trees here. So this is great for searching for things, seeing things before they get to you, trying to locate things, people, animals, things like that. This is going to do a really good job at that. So again, that is the Catapult V5 UT by Thrunite in comparison with the Thrunite TC12. Alright guys, here's another test. What I did now is I angled the camera straight up at a palm tree that is about 25 yards in front of me, but it's straight up in the air. So I'm going to show you guys what the TC12 can do at 1000 lumens. So there it is, there's the palm tree. Again, it's doing a really good job at lighting it up, and you see a little bit of a spillover onto the one there to the left of it. And I'll do a side-by-side comparison now with the Catapult. So as you guys can see, this has a more direct beam. I'll turn off the TC12. It's not spilling over so much, but it is giving you a nice focused beam. You can actually see the beam on this dark night. Actually, I'll put my finger in front of the camera here so you can see it, the beam right there as it's going all the way up to the palm tree if I want to light up the other one. So again, this is a great flashlight for searching for things, seeing things way out in the distance. That really deep and smooth emitter is doing a really good job at, you know, throwing that light way out there. So I think this is a really good example of what this flashlight can do. Alright guys, so I have the camera set up at the end of the street here. That street light you see in the middle all the way at the back is about 300 yards away. So this is going to be more of a real world test. Let's say you're walking around using your TC12 to light up your area. Again, it's going to be your EDC flashlight. 1000 lumens is going to be nice and wide right here in front of you, so you can see all the green grass. But as you start going further back, bringing the light up to see what's in front of you, you start to lose it, especially with those street lights getting in the way. You really can't make out the trees or bushes or anything in the back. And I'll give you a comparison now with the Catapult. Again, right in front of you here, 1200 lumens. It is a very direct spotlight. You can see the beam in the air. So it's not so wide, but you can still make out the grass and stuff like that. But where it really does shine is when you start lifting it up. You can see the trees all the way in the back there, even down all the way to the back where that light is about 300 yards away. It's lighting up the lights of the cars and stuff like that. So it does a really, really good job at throwing that light way out there, the street signs and stuff like that. So all the lights aren't going to you know, get in the way of shining it nice and bright all the way down to the end. All right, so hopefully those scenarios served to answer some of the questions that I was getting. I tried to make them as real world as possible. You know, if you're out and about walking your dog or something like that, you want to see where these flashlights are going to come in as far as the different distances and how focused the beams will be and stuff like that. So again, the TC12, it quickly became my favorite larger size EDC flashlight at 1000 lumens. It does a really good job at lighting anything right in front of you. I would say up to 50, maybe even 75 yards. It does a really good job. But beyond that, you start to kind of lose the light because, again, it's a shorter emitter, it's a shorter reflector, so it's designed to be a wider spill, to, you know, so you can see things right in front of you. And that is exactly where the Catapult shines. Again, that larger, deeper emitter allows that beam to go way out there. It's a lot more focused, so you can put this light exactly where it is that you want to look around and see things coming or going or searching for things. Again, I can easily see you know, law enforcement, military, security, search and rescue, any of those type of people using this flashlight here and being very happy with it. So as you guys saw in that last test, you know, the one where the lights were way out there at about 300 yards, this did a really awesome job at lighting up the trees, lighting up the vehicles and stuff like that. So you're not going to have to worry about losing the light, especially if it's a further distance and stuff like that. So there it is. I hope those tests serve to answer some of the questions that I was getting. And again, both of these lights are great. I will leave a link below, so if you guys are interested, you can go ahead and pick any of these up or any of the other Thrunite flashlights. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Thanks.